Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Africa Digital Dialogue right here at Media General at the Executive Theatre. Today, our theme is Smart Farming, Technology Meets Tradition. Let me first say that we are grateful that Hisense will partner us for this conversation. And indeed, agriculture is experiencing myriads of challenges because of climate change, of course, post-harvest losses, among others. But there is the technology to help farmers navigate through these challenges. And that is the conversation we want to have today in the next few hours. But I want us to start this conversation by watching this short video.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're bouncing significantly into the surprising universe of canny developing. We'll examine cutting-edge systems and advances that are being evolved in agribusiness. Strategies for smart farming. We should start things off with accuracy horticulture or smart farming, a foundation of current cultivating. Organizations like CropIn and AgriWatch are driving the accuse of their ranch the executives' programming and rural knowledge. Accuracy agribusiness utilizes cutting-edge innovations like accurate water systems and treatment. This implies ranchers can exactly screen soil conditions and designer water and supplements to each edit, supporting yields while limiting natural effect. Remote detecting and imaging are likewise altering farming. With satellite symbolism and robots furnished with multispectral cameras, organizations like Netafim and Drone Deploy are assisting ranchers with checking crop well-being and recognize issues like irritations or infections right off the bat. This proactive methodology guarantees better harvests and more significant returns, upgrading, generally speaking, homestead efficiency. Information examination assume a significant part as well. Stages created by organizations like FarmLogs and Granular gather information from sensors across the ranch, giving bits of knowledge on atmospheric conditions, soil well-being, and yield development stages. Prescient investigation then, at that point, utilize this information to conjecture crop yields and enhance cultivating works on, making activities more productive and beneficial. IoT and sensor innovation further upgrade savvy cultivating. Ecological sensors screen factors like temperature and moistness, while domesticated animal sensors track creature well-being and conduct. Organizations like Sencrop and Ceres Imaging give these arrangements, engaging ranchers to go with information-driven choices and upgrade ranch the board rehearses. Robotization and mechanical technology carry productivity to another level. Organizations, for example, John Deere and Trimble Horticulture, offer robotized apparatus for planting, collecting, and arranging, lessening work costs, and further developing, generally speaking, ranch efficiency. Savvy nurseries, constrained by organizations like Priva and Cannote, upgrade environment conditions for crops, further improving yield and quality. Advantages of smart farming. Presently, we should discuss the advantages. Brilliant cultivating increments, effectiveness in all cases. By improving asset use and smoothing out activities, ranchers can accomplish more significant returns with less information sources. This lifts productivity, as well as advances feasible cultivating works on, lessening natural effect. Accuracy horticulture guarantees crop quality and yield are expanded. By observing and changing variables like water and supplement levels unequivocally.
Well, like I did tell you, we'll be delving into that and much more. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you joining us on our social media platforms, we are streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and all our social media platforms. We're also live right here on TV3. Let me invite Dr. Anthony Morrison, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Agribusiness, to give us his keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, in here with us, would you please welcome Doc with a round of applause?
Right. All right. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'm not a doctor, so I want to do that disclaimer before GTech comes after me. I'm a farmer. I think that Initially, I thought I was going to do a presentation, actually. That's what I was prepared for. But I have to make a speech. Globally, we all do know that the digital smart farming is worth somewhere $3.7 billion, and is still projected to grow about 5.1. In Ghana, we can boast of quite a very vibrant digital sector, promoting the agribusiness and agroecology environment. We have CC Technology, we have Grow For Me, we have Agro Center, Farmer Line, SciComm, quite a number of them doing fantastic job. But I think that the regulatory environment has not been quite open to what we need to do to strive. As a country, we have done quite well in terms of coming up with some policies. But that notwithstanding, there is still a major concern for us, especially in the ecosystem, for us to be able to thrive. I will be clear, giving my speech, as to where the direction should go as a country, what we should be doing, and how competitive we should be engaging. Digital and smart farming is synonymous to youth and what we, the current youth, are doing in the various spaces within the farming sector and within the ecosystem and adjacent sectors. For us to be competitive in a global environment, we need to be very clear and intentional about skills development. Skills development is very key. Over the years, we have made a lot of gains. Sitting as the chairperson of the Ghana Agriculture Sector Skills Council of TVET Commission, we have developed several curriculums based on the skills gap analysis reports that we have developed for the country, and also looking at the labor market intelligence. But for us to be able to develop that kind of global competitiveness, we need to follow the likes of what South Korea are doing, Japan are doing. We need to develop or establish a National Skills Research and Innovation Institute. An institute that should be positioned to advance and research into the global competitive skills demand. Not skills for today or tomorrow, skills that will be in demand in 10 or 30 years. Because it takes time for the training providers, for other regulatory mechanisms to work together to be able to design a system that will give the kind of skills that we want. I believe 10, 15 years ago, when we all heard of AI, tell me, how has government put that into its own policies at education level, at the training level, to position at least 1 million youth? It is today that we are being told that we are doing 1 million coders. And this is where AI and machine learning and other disruptors are actually disrupting the industry, positively and negatively. My experience from Brazil tells me that over the years, we've been talking about Ghana having competitive and comparative advantage. All those advantages have been wiped out. Intensification of mechanization, robotics, adaptation of drones and sensors have become the normative or the way of doing work today. One robot can do the work of 50 people. So your cheap labor in terms of your youth has been wiped out. Now, it's no longer about how many lands or acreage or size of farmland you have. In any case, we were discussing rice. We are doing 1.9 to 2.3 metric tons per hectare. Our global competitors, Thailand, India, Vietnam, are doing 9 tons to 11 tons. How competitive are we? It is no longer about the fact that I have 100 acres, 1,000 acres. What you are using your 1,000 acres to do, somebody is using his 50 acres to do the same thing. So it is the cost that is going into it. And on the other hand, we see some very compiling lessons. We have so many wastes on our farms. In those areas that are large commercial agriculture countries, they have developed an ecosystem where there are no waste. And what is advantage? The advantage is that the likes of Brazil are global leaders when it comes to livestock and dairy, because the waste from the farm are feeding the other sectors to make sure that they have a 360 activity. The waste from the livestock is feeding crops. So what it's doing is that it is reducing your intake of fertilizers and actually strengthening the soil health. We have seen the adaptation of sensors for drones, sensors that is determining water content, sensors that are determining nutrient content, sensors that are promoting various variabilities. And as a country, how many of our technology companies are developing sensors for farmers? We have done a lot of work when it comes to climate information, but how many of these climate information systems are actually hosted here in Ghana? We are paying people in the US, in Europe, to host our data climate information, and we are paying them annually, and we are putting those costs on the poor farmer. It is time we develop some competitive strategies to achieve that. Now, digitalization does not operate in the open. It has to come with a more intentional activity. I will again on this platform say that if we are to take advantage of digitalization, we need as a country to be clear and intentional about development of industries. Digital, smart farming, and all that we're talking about does not operate in the lesser areas. The less the area, the higher the cost. So I will propose again that as a country, it is time we consider merging some of the existing government institutions to form what I refer to as the National Industries Development and Regulatory Authority. We must be intentional, we must be clear about the global competitiveness, an authority that will be much clearer in terms of how long does it take you to set up a factory? How long does it take you to go through all the regulatory mechanisms to be able to set up? Those are the things we're talking about, because with such an authority, we will know what is our raw material availability for every country, for every district, in that we are able to build that data to inform the factory that in the next 10 years or 15 years, these are your sustainability strategy. The cost of building data is very expensive, and we can't put that on the small farmer or the smallholder farmer or the poor farmer. Government must make available clear funds to be able to build national data that will inform on the increase and adaptation of digital smart farming. It is quite clear where we stand today that globally we cannot do anything as far as digital technology is concerned. We have seen how the digital area is also playing cutting-edge roles in determining how smart you are able to market your produce. We're talking about access to rice right now. A lot of rice in the system, rice glut. What is the data of paddies do we have in the system? And are we able to say for a fact that if we are to lift the ban on rice export, especially paddies, we know the quantity of paddies we have in the system and what quantity of paddies that we are expected to be exported out of the system, so we do not create another solution, another problem while solving a problem. So digital systems and digital technologies are our friends. However, at the same time, they can come at a huge cost. But it is how the infrastructures we put in place. And this is where I put a lot of emphasis on skills. Education is very important. Education determines the blueprint. But education do not transform economies. It is the skills of the country that puts in the infrastructures. It's the skills of the youth that are able to move on the blueprint to be able to drive the economy. We're talking about the work like the SESI technology, the Grow For Me are doing. If these systems were not in place, the blueprint as a result of education, the talent that they have may not be actualized within the skills that they are using now to. They employ quite a lot of people. They are solving issues with post-harvest losses, which digital smart farming is one key area that we need to look at.
Mr. Morrison, I'll be grateful if you're able to wrap up for us.
Before I wrap up, areas of greenhouse technology, we've seen how precision farming is also working. We've talked about no-till technology, which is an area where you do not have to till the soil, but you plant and harvest. We are looking at a 360 system where currently, if you are doing dairy system, you can have robots doing the work of man. And you do not need men or women to work and interface and begin to maybe, in terms of biotechnology, have some interface with the livestock that will also cost you in terms of disease control. So, digital smart farming has come to stay. It is time we embrace it with a national policy that is designed within our regulatory framework and create an enabling environment for our youth, who are the next generation leaders, to be able to uptake, get what they want out of it, and begin to run and develop this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for him, please. Mr. Anthony Morrison, thank you very much. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Agribusiness. Really painting a scary picture for us, but of course, with the main theme being the need for us to have skills development, key for the future, and the need for government to help in investing in technology because it is quite expensive. I want to call Mr. Isaac Sesay, and I know Mr. Morrison referred to him just a few minutes ago. Mr. Isaac Sesay to also give us his word. But let's watch his profile very quickly.
Isaac Sesay is an award-winning technology entrepreneur and innovator with a decade of impact in agriculture and fintech. Founder and CEO of Sesay Technologies, he leads solutions empowering 50,000 farmers in Ghana to reduce losses and boost income. A 2025 LIF Advanced Fellow and a 2019 MIT Innovator Under 35, Isaac has spoken at MIT, Yale to global leaders including the President of Ghana and the King of England. Passionate about mentoring, he supports young entrepreneurs through the University of Utrecht's Master of Business Creation program.
Gentlemen in here, a round of applause for him. Mr. Sesay, all here with his tools. Thank you, sir. You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, and I'm really grateful to be here to talk about some of the solutions we're developing to all of the problems that Dr. Anthony has mentioned. I'm going to put you in trouble with GTech. So my name is Isaac Sesay, and I am the founder of Sesay Technologies. And what we've been doing is we believe that technology is a great catalyst to improve productivity, reduce losses, and help African agriculture get closer to what is happening or what we see in terms of productivity gains in other parts of the world. So,
forgive me to interrupt you. Please, you have 3 minutes. The same for the others who will be coming very shortly. Thank you.
So we identified that there are challenges in production, the challenges in losses, and what we're doing is we are developing homegrown technologies to help farmers increase their yield while reducing losses. And I'm happy to bring some of our technologies here. We have developed a suite of solutions that address post-harvest management and poor soil health. We have our grain moisture meter, which makes it easy for farmers to know what the moisture content in their grains is to help reduce losses. We have solutions for hermetic storage. We have solutions for warehouse monitoring. In fact, with hermetic storage, even given how much there is a glut of rice, one of the things we're discussing was that if we don't figure out how to sell the rice, they're going to go bad. But with hermetic storage, you can store this rice for even up to 2 years without them going bad. We have recently developed a solution for farmers to know exactly what is going on in their soils, measure nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, know what fertilizers they need to apply in order to optimize yield. And all of this are solutions that we are developing for African agriculture, made in Ghana by Ghanaians for Ghanaians and for Africans. And it's one of the things I'm really proud that we can do in Ghana. And we see that there is a huge gap when it comes to technology adoption locally, because our agriculture is smallholder farmer led. We often see systems where smallholder farmers simply do not have the means to be able to afford these kinds of technologies. And so we like to work with the people who already work with smallholder farmers and design our solutions such that smallholder farmers, even if they cannot afford the technology, can access it through the people that they work with. I am very confident and positive that African agriculture is going to get to a point where every smallholder farmer has access to the technologies and the tools and the systems they need to improve yield. We don't want to keep being stuck in a place where we're getting yield of 1 to 1.5 tons per hectare when in India and other places they are getting 9 tons. We don't want to get stuck in a place where you grow and then you are afraid to, you're in a hurry to sell because you're afraid that if you don't sell, you're going to lose all of your income. And we believe that technology is a catalyst to do that, and we are glad to be spearheading digital technology and innovation in Ghana. So I look forward to engaging more on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Sesi as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac Sesi, technology entrepreneur and innovator, telling us that we need and we indeed have the solution with the tools to ensure we increase our yields and also deal with post-harvest losses. I want to call right now Mr. Emmanuel Nyameche, who will be giving us his presentation as well. But before he comes up stage here, let's watch his profile.
Emmanuel Nyameche is the manager of Greenhouse, Maflex Trust Ghana Limited. He holds a degree in Aquaculture and Water Resources Management from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST. With over 8 years of experience in agriculture and aquaculture production, he has worked with reputable organizations including Maflex Trust Ghana Limited, CSIR, Crop Research Institute, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Hello, and thank you, everyone. I'm Emmanuel Nyameche, and I'm the Greenhouse Manager for Maflex Trust Ghana Limited. So at Maflex Trust, we specialize in crop production, youth training, agro-processing, and exportation. So Maflex Trust Ghana started with traditional farming, where we were producing tubers of yams and then potatoes. But then over the years, with the world changing so rapidly, we saw the need to slowly integrate smart farming. So with that came the introduction of greenhouses. And in these greenhouses, we make use of automated irrigation systems. These systems make use of IoT sensors that notifies you on nutrient needs, plant health, and then the soil moisture, or in my case, the substrate moisture. In our open fields, we boast of a pivot irrigation system that covers a 120 hectare sweet potato plantation. So with this pivot irrigation system, we practice water efficient production. In our cereal farms too, we have a 14-ton harvester. This harvester harvests the husks and then provides you with clean produce, all in a single process. In these same farms too, we have a mechanized scarecrow technology that we use to scare away pests, factoring in a humane way of controlling pests, which is also being ecologically conscious. When you come to processing, we have a processing factory that processes gari and sweet potato. You know, Mr. Anthony talked about post-harvest wastage. We have so many farms in Ghana that waste a lot of the produce that they harvest because they don't know what to do with it. Maflex saw this because we were harvesting a whole lot of our potatoes. But then with the introduction of the factory, we have the machinery to peel, grate, and then fry the gari, which we also export. So just last month, we exported about 25 tons of gari to the Netherlands, UK, and the UAE. Yeah, so when you look at the synergy between the traditional knowledge and then the technology, Maflix is a great example of smart farming. And with these activities and practices, it increases productivity. And this contributes to food safety and export competitiveness. Thank you.
Much. A round of applause for him, please. Being efficient in our production and ensuring that we are also maximizing our sales. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Nyamiche, Greenhouse Manager with experience in agric and aquaculture production. Thank you for your presentation. If Mr. Silas Kakari-Mensah is here, Kakari-Mensah Boateng, we'll call him to give us his presentation as well, but let's also watch his profile very briefly.
Silas Kakari-Mensah Boateng is a rural sociologist, agribusiness strategist, and transformational leader in Ghana's agricultural sector. A CEO of AI Scarecrow Technologies, he pioneers drone-powered crop protection solutions that boost climate resilience and farm productivity. He also manages large-scale operations at J. Abetia Farms, ensures food safety with Mr. Kitchen Foods, and drives value chain growth for Lilo Rice Ghana. Silas is deeply committed to farmer empowerment, innovation, and advancing Ghana's agricultural transformation.
Hello, good morning. My name is Silas Boateng, CEO and co-founder of iScarecrow Technologies, where we leverage on technology and innovation to deter pests of cereal farms using customized homemade drones. And by extension, we also offer agrochemical application using spraying drones and also farm extension services for farmers. iScarecrow came about as a result of an extensive market research in the Volta region, Soti regions, and the northern regions, where we have a lot of rice farming activities going. We saw women and children especially scaring birds manually on the fields, and this took them 8 to 12 hours daily in the sun to scream and shout and sometimes to cling metals. This took children outside the classroom to go and scare birds even when classes were ongoing. And iScarecrow came up with this homemade drone, customized drone, which comes with a humanoid quadcopter randomized sounds, walkie-talkie, which is used to scare the birds. And being on the field for some time, we decided to add the spraying services to it because usually the farmers would want you to come in handy with a package which will help them for you to be their one-stop solution. So we scare the birds, we spray on the farms for them.
Had a party, cut a cake. The marriage seems to be null and void.
My wife came to tell me about an opportunity which she had, to travel outside. And then as part of it, she's supposed to bring her marriage certificate. But the problem is, after going to the marriage registrar's place to check, I realized that our details are not in their records.
There's a whole law regulating the marriage in terms of when not necessarily even celebrated, but for its registration.
Yes.
When you come to court, it's evidence that we use, conclusive evidence.
And so if you were getting married under the ordinance, the officiating minister is required to be a gazetted officiating minister, the place of worship.
So all venues for marriages should be gazetted.
Exactly, that is how it works.
Confessions shows on Saturdays at 10 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by MTN.
Enedia, mighty power. This is haputi.
Na ka me prayer topic on erade ma me ko delay shows.
Ibon paya.
It's a me bad delay. I mean, Ghana, you know, you delay. I na uba interview and I just say, who ye true.
Me just say I'll come on your show.
Me kai pa. Fe me ma me ka chen say na me ko delay show so ka chen say ye radio na dem be you.
Say. Delay mama show na me just say e di na be akodo no. Say your friend wa ma. No,
delay show is like the apex. It's one master the answer being CI or carrier.
As when you are GB.
The Delay Show is brought to you by Telecel, Yas Sanitary Pad, Nasco, Betway, Gino, Pepsodent, Delay Foods, Tabia Takum.
The Delay Show, Sunday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
I want to watch the match.
Even watches Ghana football these days.
Do you know Charles Taylor?
The president.
Charles the Terror Taylor. He terrorized defenses with his dribbles. Do you know Don Bote? He screamed at the stadium. Was like before the general lifting up trophies. Stephen Ojo was orchestrating the game. The legends of yesterday, they have paved way for the heroes of today. Do you know the Ghana Premier League?
No, Dad.
It's our game, it's our pride, and you watch it now live every weekend from now on.
Catch the Ghana Premier League live this and every weekend.
Dad, no.
Live right here on TV3.
And you're still here on the Africa Digital Dialogue. Today we're talking about smart farming technology meeting tradition. And we've already had some of our speakers giving us their presentations. We do apologize for that technical hitch earlier, but Mr. Silas Kakari Mensah was actually on stage giving us solutions, as it were, when it comes to your farm and how to protect it before the harvest. Mr. Mensah, if you could kindly continue with what you were giving us earlier.
Thank you for the opportunity. Once again, my name is Silas, representing iScarecrow Technologies, where we leverage on technology and innovation to scare birds on cereal farms, provide agrochemical application using drones, and by extension, farm linkage and services to farmers. So I was saying, with iScarecrow, from our inception, what propelled this innovative idea was to get children outside the field to the classroom, because most of their parents were using their kids to scare birds on cereal farms. Most of these parents also were spraying these agrochemicals on the farms without any protective, just to help save them so far as public health was and is concerned. And iScarecrow came in handy, coming up with these innovative drones to scare the birds, also providing the spraying services using drones off shelf to spray for them. And in so doing, we also provide the access to farms. After scaring your birds, after spraying, and when we are done harvesting, we link you to the rice markets so that you can sell off your rice and maize, a bit of sorghum, a bit of millet, because we mainly deal with cereal farms. We are mainly on the irrigation schemes where we take advantage of the water user associations, which is provided by the government, so we can also help farmers who farm all year round and for them to benefit from our services. And one thing which is also peculiar with iScarecrow is we go into the agri colleges to pick people to run their national services with us, thereby training them as the drone pilots to use our solution and also render these services to the farmers. And we believe this would be one way to propel our youth into agriculture and make it much more exciting and interesting for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for him. Thank you so much for that presentation. I want us to now invite, with a round of applause, Nana Poku, experienced in fintech and agri-tech. But first, his profile.
Nana Poku is a serial entrepreneur with over a decade in fintech, agri-tech and technology. An MPhil agriculture engineer, he pioneered Africa's first crowdfunding regulation and co-founded Asorba, scaling it across 4 African markets. Today, he drives Grow4Me's Pan-African strategy, empowering farmers with markets, finance and training through MTN Mobile Money. A Mandela Washington Fellow, pastor and father of 2, Nana envisions modern farm free of hoes and cutlasses, tackling hunger and climate change.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm so happy to be here. In the next 3 minutes, I want to walk you on a journey where you can be part of the change happening in our country. For the very first time, you can be a farmer without moving an inch. So I believe most of you have a mobile phone. And on your mobile money wallet, particularly on *170# on MTN, you can select option number 5, option number 4, and option number 3. And you can simply invest in agriculture. From your homes or from your offices, you can invest in a farm, maize farm or a rice farm, or in commodities like soybean and shea nut. Why was it necessary for us to build a platform where you could invest in agriculture? It was necessary because here in Ghana, there's a $5 billion investment gap in agriculture, meaning there's not enough money to develop the agricultural ecosystem. So by enabling you to invest in agriculture directly from your phone, you can now provide high-quality inputs like seed to farmers or fertilizers. Through your investment, you're able to acquire a tractor and a plow so that a farmer can stop using the hoe. Through your investment, farmers now have warehouses where they can put their commodities there and sell where the price is right. And finally, through your investments, farmers can always sell anytime they want to. But why is this important? In Ghana, the amount of food we lose every year is valued at $1.9 billion. Think about it. It goes waste. So through your investment, we're able to sell and on average make a profit of 8 to 9% and pay you back. This is regulated by the Security and Exchange Commission and is the first crowdfunding license ever issued within the intermediary category. So I want to encourage you. You can be part of the change. You can be part of the transformation across Ghana by becoming a digital farmer. And if you're ever in Tamale or Gushegu or Yendi or Karega or Pabia, where I just came from, you'll be very happy to see how farmers are benefiting from investment. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. A louder one, maybe. Thank you so much. $5 billion investment gap. That's huge. And $9.1 billion, 1.9 going waste. That's also huge. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing us that piece of information, Mr. Poku. Let's now call on Madam Araba Kumsin to give us her presentation. But again, let's watch her profile first.
Araba Kumsin is a trailblazing Guinean broadcaster who began her journalism journey in 2001. From the Daily Dispatch and Metro TV to Joy FM, she rose to become one of only 4 women ever named news editor at Joy News. Known for powerful editorials and campaigns like Clean Ghana, she blends media leadership and entrepreneurship, now managing director of GL Foods and host of Ghana Grows, inspiring youth to embrace agriculture.
Hello, good morning, and kudos to all of you, earlier speakers, and kudos to TV3 for this very critical conversation about the future of farming in Ghana. Once a journalist, always a journalist. I'm going to read. I put down a few thoughts. If I don't, I'll be talking forever. So I stand before you wearing two hats. As indicated earlier, I've been a journalist for the most part of my career. I told Ghana's stories as a journalist from the halls of Parliament through the streets of Accra. But in recent years, I've traded the newsroom for the farm, and I can tell you from experience that the story of Ghanaian agriculture is the most important story we're not telling loud enough. Now, as manager of JL Foods, and JL Foods is an agribusiness that we began barely 3 years ago, after I pivoted from journalism. I manage that, and what we do is we have 3 farms, all in the eastern region. We grow crops, mainly maize, cassava, and plantain. We do a bit of vegetables as well. We do lettuce, we do garden eggs, we do okra, and we do cayenne pepper, as well as habaneros as well. But I also host the MasterCard Foundation Ghana Grows program, and I've had the privilege of meeting farmers across the country. I've seen cocoa farmers who can predict rain better than any weather app. I've met people who've perfected crop rotation techniques passed down through generations. And I've watched young people combine their traditional wisdom with tech to triple their yields. And that is what today is about, not choosing between tradition and technology, but marrying them. You see, when I moved from journalism into agriculture, most people thought I was crazy. They were asking the question, why would you leave a successful media career for farming? And the narrative out there is that farming is a dirty job. It's not for certain types of people. And so they were a bit curious and confused. But here's what I learned. Agriculture is not just about food. It's about identity, it's about heritage, it's about sovereignty, and yes, it's about opportunity as well. The same soil that fed our ancestors can feed our future, but only if we give our farmers the tools that they deserve. So today, farmers in remote areas can check market prices in Accra from their mobile phone. They can access microloans through a digital platform and get weather alerts that help them decide when to plant. This is happening right now in Ghana. And the Ghana Grows program has shown me that young people will embrace agriculture when they see that it's not just about toiling in the sun, but also about using drones, data, and digital platforms to build profitable businesses. I believe young graduates will choose farming over office jobs because technology made it exciting. That is a transformation we need to scale. So today is not just a dialogue, it's a commitment from all of us to make agriculture the most attractive sector for our young people, the most profitable venture for our farmers, and the most innovative industry in Ghana. Thank you.
A round of applause for her, please. By the way, Madam Araba Kumsin is my former editor. But thank you very much for bringing us that information as well. Right now, we have one more speaker, but he's going to be joining us via video call, and that's Emmanuel Kwarteng. He is a seasoned fish post-harvest and market systems development expert. But let's watch his profile first before we connect to him via video call.
Dr. Emmanuel Kwarteng Director of Post-Harvest Systems, Nutrition and Market Access at GFRA LBG, is a serial entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in fintech, agri-tech, and technology innovation. He spearheaded Africa's first crowdfunding regulations, co-founded Asorba, the Pan-African Church Management Software, and now drives Grow for Me Pan-African Growth Strategy, empowering farmers through mobile money services. A Mandela Washington Fellow, MEST alumnus, pastor, and father of two, Dr. Kwarteng is passionate about transforming Africa's food system and reducing post-harvest losses.
And ladies and gentlemen here, shall we please welcome Mr. Emmanuel Kwarteng, who is joining us via video call, at least with a round of applause right here. Show him some love from the studio. Mr. Kwarteng, we can hear you. If you would kindly give us your presentation from where you are. Mr. Kwarteng, I hope you can hear us. I know you're joining us very far away from Finland in Europe. Mr. Kwarteng, I understand you're in mute. We can see you. If you would kindly unmute yourself, then we're able to hear what you have to tell us. Okay, so we'll have to correct that line to Mr. Kwarteng, who is joining us via video call. But we'll take a quick break. When we come back, perhaps we can hear him, and then we'll go into a high-level panel conversation. Don't go away. where we delve deeper into those presentations that they gave us. My name is Beatrice Edu. Earlier, we tried to connect to Mr. Emmanuel Kwarteng, who is a seasoned fish post-harvest and market systems development expert. He's joining us from Finland in Europe. And Mr. Kwarteng, hopefully this time around you can hear us. If you'd kindly go ahead with your presentation for us. Mr. Kwarteng, you're muted once again. Let's try one more time.
Good. Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, excellent. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel Kwarteng, and I am taking the conversation away from crops to fish. I know a number of crops innovations have been presented, but most of these crops are consumed in accompaniment with fish. And so this conversation is a little bit of taking it from the crop farming to fish. Fish is an important part of our diet. In fact, fish is a delicacy in Ghana. Fish actually account for 60% of the animal source protein for Ghanaians. That makes it an important part of our nutrition. Apart from contributing to all these nutritional benefits, fish also, create a lot of job opportunities. It actually contributes to about 1.1% of our GDP, which makes it an important economic element for Ghanaians. Fishing activities are a bit of embedded in a cultural settings, and so it is done mostly by people who live along the coast and also around the riverbanks. And men mostly engage in fishing, and the fish post-harvest activities are being handled by women. So there is a very clear segregation of women activities and men activities when it comes to fish. There is an important aspect of fish that we need to know. My presentation is not to scare us, but to enlighten us and broaden our understanding about fish production and consumption. Fishermen have adopted a new practice of fishing with chemicals, something we call IUU, illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing activities, which are not sustainable for us and for our marine bodies. And post-harvest activities also based on the technologies that are used in processing fish or preserving fish also contaminate fish. And so as consumers, it is about time we understand what we are consuming and where we are getting our fish from. There are a lot of attempts, there are a lot of regulations and methods put in place by the Fisheries Commission, the Food and Drugs Authority, the Ghana Standards Authority to stop all these illegal practices. The harvesting of fish or catching of fish with chemical means that there are going to be chemical residues in the fish that we consume, and they have impact on the health of consumers. And when fish are being harvested and brought to the women for fish processing, the technology that is used to process fish, which is what we have used for a very long time, also exposes fish to some chemical hazards called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These are called let me just make it easy for us to understand. They are chemical contaminants that are formed as a result of fish smoking activities, which dominates the fish preservation space. About 75% of fish harvested in Ghana are preserved by fish smoking. So it makes it very critical for us to consider. And these PAH are carcinogenic. So when we say carcinogenic, it means continual eating of this smoked fish can result in you getting cancer in the future. I mean, there's a probability to it. So it's not just, you cannot just assume that if you eat smoked fish, you are getting cancer. However, it is assumed that sorry, my boy just came back from school. That's why I wanted to have my session earlier. Yeah, so continual eating of these fish that are highly contagious of this polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon can result in you getting cancer in the future. So several technologies have been developed. Starting with FAO and Food Research Institute, they came up with the Choco Oven, which has also produces fish with high levels of PAA. These are the carcinogens. FAO also introduced the FTT technology, which is a technology that was introduced or transferred from Senegal that addresses pH level to a higher extent. On the USAID project, I work with a team of experts to develop the Ahunto technology, which also addresses pH levels in a very significant limit, meeting the international standards. And having fish with high contaminants of this pH means that you cannot access certain premium market or high markets, such as the EU market, which is a very lucrative market for fish business. So the Ahunto technology has been introduced that address these fish smoking problems, and this technology has been adopted by the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, the Fisheries Commission, and is being promoted by several projects, including the Healthy Food Africa project that Food Research recently implemented. So this is in a way trying to address a national problem, because this issue is a national issue. It's a national health issue that we need to pay an important attention to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwarteng, for that. I just have a few questions for you, though. First of all, if you can tell us how bad the situation the challenge that you're describing is. First, we talk about how we even fish in Ghana, where you have a lot of fishermen or fisher folks using smaller nets to catch a lot of fish, overfishing, and then the bit about the chemicals. We've already heard that people use, for instance, formalin just to preserve tuna and other fish that they catch, just so they are able to keep them for a long time before they sell them. If you can tell us how huge this challenge is and perhaps the way forward in terms of solutions.
Okay. I will say any fish that is caught illegally using chemicals or any form of method that is not described or ascribed by the Fisheries Commission is a serious issue. The chemicals used for fishing, ranges from a whole lot. Not to scare consumers, but to mention a few. We have people using even detergent and other things to wash the fish for it to appear presentable for fish processors to buy without knowing that the fish is caught illegally. Also, the preservation of fish by formalin is a serious issue that FDA is, strictly against. EPA is also working to stop that. Fisheries Commission is, passing a number of regulations and also embedding this in their law to fight against all these illegal practices. And in an effort or in an attempt to address this, there was a multidisciplinary technical committee formed that have instituted something called Safe Fish Certification and Licensing Scheme, so that they can embark on traceability to find out how fish was caught, where it was caught, how it was processed, to ensure that consumers get the right fish on their plate to eat. So I would say it is a serious problem. It has serious health problems that because you might not see the impact right there and then after eating the fish, you might probably think it's not something that we should pay attention to. But these are things that build gradually, and it gets to a time it escalates as a health issue and you cannot do anything about it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwarteng. I want you to hold on. I'll come back to you, but I want to get to my panel right here in studio. And I want to start with you, Mr. Anthony Kofi Morrison, Policy and Agribusiness. Really, just for you, you enumerated a number of challenges to us during your presentation. But if you can tell us really how ready Ghana is in dealing with this problem using digitalization or artificial intelligence.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I think that to a large extent, the ecosystem, as you can see, is quite very robust. But there are certain things that are non-negotiable for smart digital farming to come alive. We're talking about reliable and affordable energy, reliable and affordable broadband, reliable and affordable transportation and logistics systems. These are very key. It can be reliable, but if it's not affordable, digital technology cannot thrive on it. And some of these things are very important. 10 years ago, we said Africa is the next stage of the real globalization, the real transformation. But this is where we are now. The transformation, the advancements have catch up with us. I think that rather than begin to go back to start afresh, let's go the way the Asian tigers went. Let us also copy and paste and integrate it in a way that works for us. Because, for instance, the global war between China and America is about patents. It's about chip, something being stolen, data being stolen. What is being stolen? It's all about information. How is the information being used? We are not stealing enough information from our global competitors. For me, as a country, CSR, we are not even putting in 1% of our GDP into CSR. For CSR to come up with cutting-edge research and other things that will advance industry, advance manufacturing, advance areas of technology adoption. We are not doing that. Those of us who are in the industry and those who are into the digital space, those who are also good in ethical stealing, should do that in a way that, I'm using the word stealing in a more diplomatic way, so that, but this is what we have come to see. Because if US is investing about $50 billion annually into research, and we are even yet to do $1.2 million a year, how competitive can we be?
The economies are not the same, as you can imagine.
Yes, but we must be able to put our best foot forward in a manner that defines where we want to be. What is our aspiration for the next 5 years, 10 years? How do we want our systems to be responsive? The robustness of the sector. And I agree with you, policy is key. We talk a lot about policy. But you see, as a country, over the past 30 years, I think we have been driven and governed by political party manifestos and not policies that are actually emanating from research. You see, data from research must inform how policy is built. And I know people have spoken about the fact that we need a bottom-up approach. I think that policies overridingly must be informed by research. Research defines the data for the future, the data now, and how you need to position yourself to be competitive. In fact, for me, in the agriculture space, I looked at 3 countries: Denmark, Brazil, and the US. Now, Denmark, because when it comes to research and the environment, they are top-notch in the world. US, yes, because you can see the desire. They want to be on top all the time. And everybody talks about them. I don't want to talk about China and the Asian tigers. Brazil is an example of a third world country, now a global giant in agriculture industrialization. These 3 countries are countries we need to learn from. Are we in the position as a country to begin to manipulate a system where we are able to drive some kind of perspective? For instance, cold chain.
If you could wrap up for us or summarize,
Ghana
and then I
loses
could move on.
about 3 to 7 billion annually on post-harvest. Cold chain alone, if we have a reliable energy and affordable, can resolve the issues of the losses of tomatoes, the losses of fruits, mangoes, and the horticulture, meat, aquaculture, as he was talking about. We can do a lot. But the cost of energy in our homes are even scaring us from even adopting it in a technology.
In 30 seconds before I go to Mr. Nyameche, what do you want to see now? Because in every plan, there should be immediate, long-term, and medium-term. 30 seconds, please.
Cut the losses, incorporate dynamism of renewable energy, solar systems, and make broadband access across the rural areas. You will see a more vibrant digital technology.
Mr. Nyameche, I'm coming to you, and if you can tell us what practical technologies you've seen farmers use and really how you think we can ensure that they are adopted easily by others. Yes.
Hello.
You're on, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, some examples of the technology that I've seen farmers use.
I think you've put the mic off, so if you could turn on or just take the other one whilst we try.
Hello.
Excellent.
Yeah. Examples of some technology that I've seen farmers use. I would say tractors. Yeah. And then rice harvesters. Yeah. When you take rice harvesters, it's very efficient. When you try to harvest rice with just, human labor, there's a whole lot of post-harvest loss. With the harvesters, it can be done in a short amount of time, and then you get all the grains that you need. Yeah, so that is one that I am very, very happy about because it's really adopted when you go to the Volta region. Most of the people use it. Secondly, they also grow a lot of potatoes over there. So with the potatoes, harvesting it sometimes becomes a big problem. You are either going to use a hoe or a cutlass, which is not very, very efficient. If you don't have the tractors, you lose a lot of what you've actually farmed in the ground. And that is the problem most of them are facing right now as we talk. So, as a member of, as a worker at Maflex, we have farmers coming over to come and then ask for our tractors. They come, hire it in a sense, and then go use for their farms. Yeah, that's basically what.
Are you done with your submission?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. I want to go to, actually come to Mr. Mensah Boateng. You were talking to us earlier, scarecrow technologies and the drones. If you can tell us really the challenges in terms of cost perception or even regulation and how you think that could be dealt with.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to scaring birds using drones, I think the issue is not so much with costs, because when we came into the marketplace, we decided to charge just as the manual bird scarers were charging, just so we are not driven away by costs. But the issue was with adaptability. That was the major issue, and the concerns from the farmers were a bit laudable because a lot of technologies or innovations had come which made them throw away their monies. So as to whether you were bringing something efficient and effective now, that was their headache. But in terms of cost, we didn't face so much of an issue so far as bird scaring is concerned.
Thank you. I want to go back to Mr. Boateng. If he can tell us really how he thinks we can use technology to address the challenges that he talked about earlier. Mr. Boateng, if you can hear us, you have about 1 minute.
Thank you very much. I think there are two aspects of addressing this problem, because we have the microbial contaminant and we have the chemical contaminant. There are some chemicals that can be eliminated using an improved fish smoking technology. The microbial contaminant can be eliminated to a larger extent using heat and other cooking practices. However, with the chemical contaminant, like the use of chemical for fishing, cannot be eliminated using the fish smoking technologies. Neither can it be also eliminated using heat or any other. So it means that those remains in the fish and it goes into the body. God has designed our body system to be able to eliminate these kind of toxics, but when it is beyond what the human organs can take, then it becomes a problem. I mean, it can result in all kind of failures like kidney failure and then all these kind of problems. With the technologies like the Ahoto oven, the FTT ovens, they will be able to reduce the smoke that actually contaminate the fish. So smoke from biomass materials, which we use in smoking, like the firewood, once it's not able to undergo complete combustion, then it leaves certain chemicals, certain contaminants in the fish. And when it is consumed, it is just like taking something like cigarette in a smoke form or in a gaseous form, but this time you are eating fish with these toxins in a solid form. And so this can accumulate and end to. So yes, technology can address some of the contaminants, but not all the contaminants.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kwati. I'm coming to you, Mr. Poku, because you, I mean, through the conversation, one thing that is clear is that it's expensive when it comes to technology. Are you able to tell us how farmers can unlock, for instance, digital lending and crowdfunding?
Yes, absolutely. One of the things we did, and first of all, thanks for such an important question. One of the things we did was to look at technology that was already being used. And you agree with me that everybody's on one mobile network or the other. So coming through the mobile money network was a very critical step. And that means that farmers don't need to be taught something new. Everybody knows star 170, everybody knows star 110, and so on. So plugging our technology into these ecosystems made it easy for farmers to access them. Number two is working strategically on the pinpoints farmers have and making sure those services the farmers need can be accessed. For example, a farmer who wants to sell a bag of maize should be able to, currently can go on MTN mobile money, option 543, say I'm a farmer and select I want to sell. And he will see the warehouse, he will see how much money is available and choose to sell. And the way farmers can get to know this is by sensitizing them. And so we strategically partner with the likes of GIZ, Agra, and the rest to sensitize farmers so that they understand this is available. One of the key pain points which allows us to drive the digital adoption is mechanization, tractor services. I'm coming from Gushegu. I was in Yendi, Pabia, many places with our tractors threshing for farmers. And once again, farmers for the first time can request for tractor service on the MTN mobile money platform and on other networks. So the way we get farmers to adapt these technologies by using the technology to solve real pain points that they talk about every day. And from there, they can now adapt the financial services you talked about, like savings, loans, and so on. So start from what is painful, what they are dealing with, and then you add on. That's how we did it.
Thank you very much. I want to come to you now, Araba, because you told the story of moving from media to now agriculture. If you can tell us how we can change the narrative and make this whole field exciting for young people, for them to even want to venture into it.
So first of all, by venturing into that industry, I'm changing the narrative because people were curious about why someone in an industry that is full of glam would go into another that is just full of debt, so to speak. So by entering it, I think that I'm also changing the narrative because a lot of young corporate women have reached out to me asking how they can start because quite a number of people actually acquire land, but they don't know what to do with it. They don't have the time or the resources to spend on the farm and ensure that it's successful. So they have reached out to me and they want to know how to start and how to go about it. So that's one way of changing the narrative. Another way is also visibility on social media. I was very decisive when I started this farming venture about being visible on social media so that others can see what I'm doing in real time and also can follow suit. So it's all about visibility and using social media to enhance what you're doing, to encourage people to move away from the narrative that farming is a dirty job.
Thank you very much. I'm coming to you, Mr. Sesi. You came on stage with your tools. How do we get smallholder farmers, for instance, to also benefit from digital technology or artificial intelligence?
Thank you. I think that the technological innovation is important, but the business model innovation is also very, very important. There's a lot of work that goes into the business model as much as it goes into the technology. Now, I cannot take my fancy technology to the village and say that the farmer should buy. They cannot afford to buy. And so the question should be, how do we make it possible for these farmers to be able to get access to the benefits of the technology, even if they cannot afford to buy? So we've been exploring a lot of other models. We currently have partnerships where we can have agents that have access to our technology, agents who are youth that are based in these rural areas who can go and offer a soil testing service or a moisture testing service or sell a hermetic bag to a farmer so that with the little that you have, you can get access to the benefit of that technology. So right now we are deploying agents across the country where a farmer can call and say, I want my soil tested, and then they can go and have a soil test and get a report that tells them what is in the soil, what fertilizers they need for the particular crop, and how to apply it. We've integrated AI tools that even tell that agent that, okay, if you want to explain this to a smallholder farmer, you can explain pH like this. You can explain nitrogen as this. You can explain potassium as this, so that they are getting the benefits of that technology without necessarily having to spend the money to purchase that. We are also open to collaborations with other people, other agribusinesses that are plugged into the rural farming community who already offer services to these farmers. Grow For Me offers tractor services, threshing, and so on. So we are taking advantage of established relationships that people have with other smallholder farmers to deploy solutions that they would otherwise be unable to afford.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for him, please. I want us to go to Mr. Kwate, who is on Zoom with us, just to wrap up the conversation, and I'll come back and get your final word. And perhaps, Mr. Kwate, I'm told, is gone, but perhaps I should come to you, Mr. Emmanuel Nyamiche, on whether or not Ghana should subsidize digital tools like we have with fertilizers, for instance.
Yeah, definitely. We should definitely subsidize it. Because if you're able to subsidize these, that's when you are going to get most of the farmers to try to, integrate them in their farming. Let's talk about the scarecrow, mechanized scarecrow that my fellow colleague here actually came to speak about. You have children standing on fields yelling from morning till evening. I've seen it too. They wouldn't be in the classroom. Their moms would take them to the rice farms, and then you shout from 5 a.m. That's when birds are very active. So you stand there and shout. You take a little bit of a breather somewhere around 12, and then you come back, shout again. Some will shout throughout the day, and then they bring them food on the farm, and then you continue shouting. It's not a good system. So if you're able to subsidize this a little bit, they can get it, and then these children will go back to school, and then the farming will continue. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karim Mensah. If you can tell us your thoughts on whether or not you think Ghana is moving fast enough in regulating, for instance, the use of drones and other technologies like that you are into.
Okay, I think in terms of regulations, there aren't so much of a hurdle because when we started, we really went to the GCCA to inquire from them on what we were doing, and I think the instructions were simple. So far as we are not flying within the city where the airlines, have their pathway, they don't have an issue. Yes, so just make sure that you are registered, you are certified, and you can fly. But the hurdle usually comes in when we would have to, go through the training bit and the financial obligation, because you have to be renewing your
Hello everyone, my name is Afia Daw. This Friday, exactly 8 p.m., I will be on Showbiz 360 with Giovanni. And don't miss out on my live performance. I'll be singing my latest single, Take Me Home.
Showbiz 360 now shows on Fridays at 8 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Johnny Walker.
A stranger has accidentally sent you money via mobile money. In the state of scams, they call you and tell you that they routinely sent you money. What do you do?
Who said I answered?